Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Linda Marks, Mr. Woody Carpinella, and Miss Jackie Damsky.
Walls hold up buildings, walls keep us safe, walls provide shelter we crave. People have hurt us, we're fragile inside. Walls help push danger away. Walls become armor, walls protect hearts, walls also keep love away. When there's a yearning deep in my soul, how can I bring love's light my way? If you tell me truth, if you speak from your heart, we might connect and embrace in grace. Faith gives us power, faith helps us heal, faith is a balm for the soul. Faith brings us vision, faith can transform all in a magic Take my hand, take my heart, open yours, hold me close. When our hearts come together, His grace by my side, my love, being nourished by my love. When our lives come together, His grace. Love is a blessing. Love is a force. Love holds the key to our hearts. Grace creates safety. Grace opens doors. Grace heals our hearts and lives. If you tell me your truth, if you speak from your heart, we might connect and embrace in grace,
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Folks, I hope that you really enjoyed that number by these three folks because you are going to be in for a lot more of that before the show is over. We have Miss Linda Marks, who is on the show now for her fourth time, and she is an old pro at this. And she brought along Mr. Woody Carpinella and Miss Jackie Damsky, who was also on the show one time, but you didn't see her on the panel, you saw her performing, and you are going to see her perform again tonight. So folks, Welcome aboard. Linda, welcome back.
Thanks so much,
Woody,
Frank.
Jackie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
My
having
pleasure.
us. Yeah.
I tell you, that was an awesome way to start the show with that song. That was from your upcoming CD?
Yes, my newest album is In Grace. It's going to be released in September, and that was the title song, In Grace.
Now, which one is this? Like 385? It seems
Well,
like you're popping them out every other month.
If you count, well, my first one came out in the 1980s, and then I didn't do another one for a few decades, so it's not quite that fast.
No, I know.
But this is actually the sixth album since 2015.
I tell you, if
Yeah.
this is anything like the other five, you're going to be in for a treat because she really knows how to put together a CD with great musicians, and she surrounds herself with great talent. So congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
We look forward to for you doing that.
I can't wait, and we're waiting for our date for Club Passim, but we're planning to release it again at Club Passim, hopefully in September.
Awesome.
With a full band, which is really exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, how did you come to pass and have these two folks joining you? I know Jackie's been with you before.
Yes.
But Woody, how did you join this collaboration?
I just went to one of her house concerts, and she mentioned that she was looking for a guitar player, so
You raised your hand?
she gave her my CD,
Yeah.
and then that was
Yeah.
it worked.
Cool.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your background. How long you've been playing. I know you play the guitar. And why don't you give a little history lesson here?
I started when I was 12 years old, right after the Beatles' Help album came out,
Okay.
and then played in bands in high school, and like everybody. After high school, I went on the road with a bunch of different bands, and playing Holiday Inns and clubs and whatnot. And then started having kids, and that that was the end of that for a
I
while.
wish I had a nickel for every person who has said that.
I imagine so, yeah.
I bet.
So they're all out of the house. And
Now, were the Beatles influential on your music?
Absolutely, yeah, exactly, definitely.
Cool. Jackie, catch us up a little bit. What's been going on with you? I know that you've been out and about, and matter of fact, you're going to have to scoot out after our shoot today and do a gig tonight. But catch us up a little bit on what's been going on with you.
Well, I play with a constantly changing cast of characters, which is exciting for me. Right now, tonight, I'll be playing with Dave Birkin, who I met through Linda Marks.
Right.
Yeah.
He's Linda's saxophone player, and we'll be
And
doing
you play yourself the
violin.
violin.
Yes.
So you're going to be fiddling around with Dave tonight.
I will be fiddling with Dave, exactly.
Cool.
Recently, I went to Nashville. I recorded at Blackbird Studios with a young, incredibly talented singer-songwriter named Lauren Weintraub.
Awesome.
So that was very exciting.
When's that coming out?
Hopefully within the next month or two. I think it's going to be called the Blackbird Sessions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to be debuting that and showcasing that around the area?
I hope so.
You hope.
Yes. Lauren calls the shots, so we'll see what she decides to do.
Cool.
Yeah, but she's lovely. She's the daughter of a college friend of mine, so I'm very excited to play with her. I've known her since she's an infant.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, Linda, you constantly have a changing cast of characters yourself. Now, how easy or difficult it is to do that? So let's say when, Woody put his hand up and said, I can play the guitar. And then you said, okay, how easy or difficult is it to transition into some of these roving cast of musicians that you play with?
Well,
learning the music, the style, and getting everybody on the same page.
I actually like to work with consistent musicians.
Okay.
Sometimes casts change just because life happens that way.
Uh-huh.
But I really like to have consistent musicians. When I heard Woody's album and I heard what great jazz chops he had, I was like, okay, he can do this. Because I cross over into a lot of genres.
Yes.
Certainly jazz is one of them, contemporary folk, a little gospel, a little bossa nova. So to hear someone that had the versatility that could cover a wide variety, and particularly good jazz chops, because in the folk world, it's very different than when people start filling in some of the fine, I call it the fine guitar stylings, which Woody has yeah.
Now, Woody, when we were talking before the show, you had mentioned that you originally had some bluesy influence.
Yeah, I did.
Did you get out and play any blues, or do you go out and say, okay, tonight I'm going to go out and play blues and go out to a
Actually,
jam?
I just did that Monday night.
Really?
Once a month up in the Herring Room.
Okay.
There's a Stormy Monday blues night. And,
Very cool.
And I'm part of the house band.
Who are some of your blues influences? Who would you listen to, or
like-
who would you draw some of your chops from in the blues area?
Yeah, the first guys I heard were the Stones, and they kind of led into all the original people who they
Right.
were into it.
Right.
So Clapton and Beck, but Otis Rush is a real good one.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the Kings, are really good influences.
Cool. Well, good for you. I'd have to go out and check you out on the blues. I like the blues. Now, on your upcoming CD, is it similar, different to what you've done before? How would you compare it to the other ones that you've done?
That's always an interesting question because I'm an arranger.
Stayed up all night thinking of that one. All night. I knew it would work.
Yeah, well, I have 7 original songs on this album, and I've tended to, other than my singer-songwriter album that was 100% original, I've tended to have about a third original and then 2/3 I've arranged others, but this time it's flipped.
Okay.
So 7 are original songs, and I always choose one really fun song that makes people want to get up and move on moments. We did Mornin' by Al Jarreau. This time, actually, I do have a fun thing about this album that turned out this way. It wasn't the plan, but there were 2 songs on the album that ended up being in Academy Award nominated movies, one of which got the best song. So when Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper did the most recent As a Star is Born, of course I went to see it, and I fell in love with the song Shallow, and the minute I heard it, I decided I was going to arrange it. So that's one of the ones on the album. And then I somehow thought of the song It's Too Late to Turn Back Now. We're going to be playing that today by the Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. Yeah, and it's a fantastic dance song, so I figured that would be the good one. I wrote a violin part for Jackie. I went to see Spike Lee's movie Black Klansman. Guess what the dance song was? I was like, wow. That was really cool. It's
I think they were speaking to you.
Yeah, they were speaking to me.
Cool.
So there are 2 songs on the album. I wrote a song called Tree of Life, which we'll be playing, which is a prayer to end gun violence that I started to write the morning after the Tree of Life shooting. And
I saw that. I was there when you did that, and we were hoping to record that here, but it just never came to be. But that was a very powerful show, and hearing that song was so beautifully when you did that, because it was still raw.
It was still raw.
It was still raw. So that emotion that night was palpable.
Yeah, that was at Club Cafe with Chuck Vermette and I when we did our show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, 2 new things too.
Go ahead.
In orchestration, it's always fun. I wrote a song that when I heard it, it just had to have banjo. So Yanni Bateau, who I've known for a long time, she's playing banjo. And I wrote a song that's a global anthem for the Light Up the Love movement, which is a really cool thing. There's a man in San Diego who started it, and love is the one human superpower we all possess. So he's trying to encourage people to use it and make the world a better place. And he asked me to write an anthem. So when I did the recording of this, I put harp on it with a woman named Diana Maria Furlick, who's going to be, hopefully, I hope I can bring her to the album release, but it's really cool putting harp on too. So I haven't used harp and banjo before, but this time I did.
I know, going back to that other one at the Club Cafe that night when you were doing some of those songs, I heard you do Morning, and you did a couple of other real funky ones too that, kind of took me by surprise, that, because I hadn't heard them before. And so it'll be interesting to see, how you put your spin on some of these.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, what about some venues? I know that you've been exploring yourself. I mean, exploring some new areas and some new venues. I know you have some new things coming up.
Yeah. Well,
new places.
Well, one thing I appreciate about Woody is he really likes to play. So we've been playing quite a lot. We were in Providence at the Mediator Stage last week. We were up in Lynn at the Walnut Street Cafe. This Friday, the 3 of us are playing at Main Street's Market and Cafe in Concord, which I love. I've played there before.
Nice.
And then next week, on Thursday night, Woody and I are playing at Cafe Bohemia or Club Bohemia in Cambridge. On Friday night, I was asked to just play solo as the first artist in a new series on Beacon Hill.
Nice.
And then on Saturday, my monthly music salon is happening, and Woody and I play there. So, but really, 2 things I wanted to mention that are very special. One is on the 30th of March, we're playing as the first artists at Land of a Thousand Hills Coffee House in Lynn, which is actually a social entrepreneurship project of a nonprofit that helps young people in the Lynn area.
Nice.
So it's a really special place. And on June 23rd, it's a little further out, the 3 of us are going to be playing at City Winery as part of the Lady Lake Music Showcase, which is very exciting.
Venue.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and great artists playing with us. So I'm a Lady Lake artist, and Cindy Didamo, who's the founder of Lady Lake, is coming up from Florida. And one of her other artists, David Martinez, is coming in from Texas to play there. Myself with Woody and Jackie are playing, Laurie Diamond and Fred Abatelli, who are wonderful songwriters and performers, and then Michael Gray, who's the head of a band called American Beauty. So that's a
Very
really
cool.
exciting show.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I forgot the most important, the upcoming show, which is there's a fundraiser for Buddy Dog Animal Shelter in Sudbury. And a group that I co-founded called Women in Music Gathering is performing. And not only are 7 of us who are members of the Women in Music Gathering performing at Club Cafe on April 6th, but a songwriter from Canada, Tia McGrath, and a songwriter from New Jersey, Loretta Hagen, are coming into town because they care enough about four-legged animals that they are doing it. So that's
Cool.
a very exciting show. And please get your ticket and support the Buddy Dog fundraiser. And if you can't be there, make a donation to Buddy Dog.
Cool. But we've been talking about your music for the last several minutes. I think it's about time where you actually get up and play some of it. You're going to play a couple of songs today on
Yes.
top of the one. Are these going to come from your new album?
So 2 songs besides In Grace are from my new album. We're doing Too Late to Turn Back Now and Tree of Life. And then I brought along one from the Moments album because it sounds really good with these 2 on it, Living on the Dark Side of the Moon, which was the number 3
Absolutely love
song
that
on
song.
Independent Share this summer. So
Absolutely love that song. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax, and we will be back in a little bit.
Tree of life in this sacred sanctuary are the guardians and the keepers of our souls. Here we pray, here we gather together in the shelter
as always, and once again, Linda, you never cease to amaze with your music, and you two were not too shabby either. Thank you all for doing that. I told you at home you weren't going to be disappointed, and they certainly lived up to it. So one of the things that I always tell people, especially you in the past, but you haven't heard it before, one of our enemies here is the clock. We could sit and talk, but we have so many different stories I'm sure that each of you could talk about. But is there anything that, anything else that you would like to bring up? Any shout outs, any kudos, anything else that you want to talk about or bring up before we bring it to a close here? One would be how to get a hold of you. I think it's always important to let people know how to get a hold of you.
My website is lindamarksmusic.com. I'm on Facebook, both as just Linda Marks Music, and I have a singer-songwriter page too. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Reverb Nation.
And that's all going to be up there.
Yes.
But folks, thank you so much for coming on. Linda, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you,
and
Frank.
Whenever you put the CD out or any other music, just let me know. And Woody, thank you so much for coming on. I hope that I get an opportunity to go out and see you, maybe play a little blues sometime. Jackie, always a pleasure. I want to wish you a lot of luck and success on that CD. And if you ever are around and you want to come on and talk about that and promote that and bring somebody with you and feature some of that music, I'd love to have you back on.
Oh, thank you so much. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
So folks, as I always say, it is very important that you go out and support these local musicians. They wouldn't be in the position that they are if it wasn't for you going to hear them and go and listen to them. My usual director, Roxanne Morse, who is off on a little bit of sabbatical, ably filled in tonight by Mr. Dave Young, our access coordinator. So for everyone here, for all the folks at SMAC, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on.